Toulouse and France Hook are now on the coaching staff of the French side. I think he perhaps set it up best when he said this will be a meeting of rare intensity, and we are ready for it now. The last of the quarterfinals, the one remaining place in the semi-finals next weekend. England wait and watch for the rest of us now. Will they face the host nation, or will they play the defending champion South Africa, hoping to make it 4, as the All Blacks are as well? France against South Africa, giants of the game coming together. The referee from New Zealand, Ben O'Keefe, and the countdown is nearly over, and we are ready for this quarter-final at the Stade de France between France and South Africa. And it will be South Africa who will get us underway. Loud blast of the whistle, but Manny Libbok is not a man to be rushed, takes his time and then sends that white ball into the sky. Taken down just outside the French 22. France playing from left to right as we look down from the stands here. And Dupont in the scrum cap tonight, told to use it, and kicks it long. And taken in by Kurtley Arendse. He also in his scrum cap, but in black and vivid green edging. And Alele bleu as Etzebeth carries it in and is repelled. Ramos, what a take that is in the air, and a fuse from the crowd as Cheslin Colby came in and seemed to upend the French fullback while he was gathering that ball, but fair contest, says the referee. And Charles Olivon scrabbles on, and hands and knees up to the French 10-metre line. Down through the middle it goes. Opportunity. Jalibert can't quite gather. Now he can. And France pouring in. Chance here. Dupont sticks it over the top. The chase is on out wide. Bielberry! Not quite. Not quite. In the red scrum cap, he was herring down the left wing on that ball. And boos from the crowd, but I think Kurtley Arendse was back there as well. And goal line dropout, says the calm and composed Ben O'Keefe.
Yeah, Barry waving to the referee, thinking it was deliberately knocked dead. 2 kicks from Libbok to start with, both taken by Charles Olivon. Then a creative flip over the top. Listen to the crowd, you can guess what's just been shown on the big screen.
What do you think, Bobby Skinstad?
Well, it's definitely not knocked dead on purpose. He's trying to grab the ball. He's got his right hand being held back. So, I mean, he's only got one hand to go at it. And Ben O'Keefe, I think nice and calmly, has said, let's carry on with the game.
It's the referee's job to just say, I'm here as in a neutral venue, shut out all the noise. Great carry by Olivon again, and there is Aldrit. And France have gathered it and have driven up to just outside the South African 22 again. And Dwayne Vermeulen told to get out of there. So here come France once more. Antonio Mountain on the move, carries it up to the 22 again, and Dupont shifts it quickly to Cyril Bay's loose head. And here they go again, popped over the top to Damien Pearl, a little chip, but charged down. And out it goes. Damien Willems, fullback, got hands on it. Line out to France, just inside the South African 22.
Electric play from both teams here, and I mean in terms of, on both flanks they've had an attack with the feet and the kick from Dupont going up the left-hand side. Amazing ability here from France to just combine the power of the forwards and then flick it around the back to the back so quickly.
Wonder if there might be nerves early on from France, or indeed from both sides. Certainly not from France, though. Very bright start as Mauvaka, the hooker, prepares for the first line out. South Africa are so good at challenging, but it's taken down by Cameron Woki. A mighty maul now by France. They're powering on. Oh my word, 3 of them, a pocket, a drive. 2 metres short, a pick and go. South Africa splintered, but the ball goes loose. Offside South Africa. Penalty advantage France. Here they come again. Try! Wonderful hands from Penaud to Bay. Cyril Bay, the loose head prop, gets into the corner, and the Stade de France is alive. What a start by France. They had the advantage, but they had the speed of thought and hands, and it was Cyril Bay, the loose head prop, waiting on the wing to take the final pass.
Incredible leap from Cameron Woki in the line-out, took it down, then there was no hesitation. Jonathan Danty was at the front to add power to the maul, and it was a ferocious drive, fully 20 metres, then it splintered as they got close to the line. Thibaut Flamand was going so quick he tripped over. They recycled a couple of times, went back down to the blind side. The loose head prop docks it down, fed by his winger Damien Penaud. That is the perfect start from France.
Well, that's exactly what they wanted, and it's a cracking start. Lovely interaction, forwards and backs. South Africa are undone there. What a fantastic driving maul as well. I mean, the pace of it, you're right, he tripped over, he was going too fast. Amazing play. South Africa will have to really gather their thoughts here, because there's a 16th man on this field, and it's felt around every single seat in the stadium.
Mostly hush, but a pocket of supporters belt out the anthem. Ramos conversion from this right touchline. Oh, what a kick that is from Thomas Ramos. Is he going to reach it? Just crawls over, but on the tightest of angles for a right-footed kicker. Paul Grayson admired that one.
Absolutely, right from the right-hand touchline from Ramos. Didn't get all of the ball, but I'm sure 40,000 French supporters straight behind him just gave it a little bit of an extra blow.
Just quickly before the restart, a goal, Norway against Spain, Shojo Saka.
It is the 20th minute, it's Norway 0, Spain 1. A mistake in the Norway defence. Alvaro Morata coming in on the far post to tap in a simple goal for Spain. It's Norway 0, Spain 1.
Well, that will be greeted by Scottish supporters everywhere, wherever they might be. France take the restart, and midway between the French 22 and the 10-metre line, they gather it in and they try and just settle things down. Dupont flings it back to Jalibert, and from deep the fly half sends it long, good length on it, taken in by Cheslin Colby, and Colby skipping into the heavy traffic up to the French 10-metre line, 15 metres from this near side touch. South Africa attacking from right to left as we look at it, spilled by Mbonambi, and now what a chance for France. Careering on is Malvaka, the hooker, up to the South African 22. The Springboks in disarray, the pass floated out wide. Here come France again. Fiku for the line. He had Bielbiere outside, 2 metres short. Still they come. Aldrit drives in the number 8, and now Dupont, and now to Danty. Can't quite get there, 1 metre short. France rampant at the moment. Dupont feeds it out. Oh, and Etzebeth there. My words. He may be in bother, Etzebeth. He's patted the ball down. Was that the try-scoring pass? Well,
it looks like it went backwards. Referee was happy with it.
And he has got it backwards, Etzebeth, despite the protestations of the crowd. Was great defensive work by Etzebeth. A huge mitt stretched out. It looked certain that France would get their second try, and to a cacophony of boos, South Africa clear. And almost up to the halfway line, France think twice about the quick line out and listen to the crowd watching the replay. But you're right, he hasn't patted that down or forwards.
Great athleticism from Etzebeth, because they were dead in the water there if he hasn't made that intervention. Took the risk, managed to jump in the air forwards, get his fingers round the back of the ball and flick it an inch or two backwards. Otherwise they were 14 down.
We've got a quick pause here ahead of the next line-out, so we will go to the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales against Croatia. Sheridan Robbins.
Wales 0, Croatia 0. Good start from Wales, some wonderful skill from David Brooks midway through the halfway line, but it's still no real chances for either side. It's still Wales 0, Croatia 0.
And it's still Norway 0, Spain 0, because that Spanish goal has been disallowed. VAR. Doing its thing. We might have a few TMO reviews in this game as well, such as the modern way of sport. And after South Africa weathered that French storm, the ball is loose. Oh, real chance now for Kurtley Arendse. Pounces on the loose ball, and he's in. Stade de France is stunned. What a mess in the French defence there. It was rather chaotic and confused, but Kurtley Arendse on the right wing just raced onto a loose ball, gathered, and no one was going to stop him.
Frans Malherbe got his hands on the ball in the breakdown. Brilliant work from the South African tight head. Caused the turnover. Kobus Reinach came into 9, went for a box kick. It was a wobbly old kick, but then unstructured. France going from attack to defence. Slowly, the ball bounced backwards. Pierre Barry, I think, maybe got a hand to it. Then Kurtley Arendse, genuine pace. The ball bounced for him, 40 metres to go, cruised in.
Helter-skelter stuff. I mean, both sides have taken the 2 quick opportunities that they've got. You know, South Africa, Eben Etzebeth, something's got to be said there. I mean, that was just an amazing piece of skill, but a piece of luck as well. That ball could have drifted forward. I mean, he went for the intercept and patted it backwards. They hung on to it. Reinach's amazing exit kick, you know, allowed them to have pressure on that line out, and South Africa with the up and under after Dwayne Vermeulen stole the ball are back in the game.
No one does aggrieved like a French crowd when they feel that something has gone against them, and they feel that Etzebeth should have been penalised. But if you look at the replays, as we did, it went backwards. It was great defensive work, and then suddenly the try from Kurtley Arendse, and now to Manny Libbok, just puffing out those cheeks once and twice and 3 times. A very similar kick to that which Ramos knocked over. Kurtley Arendse looks to have brought this round enough. Beautiful kick by Manny Libbok. Well, don't doubt his kicking. Maybe he's better with the more difficult ones, because that was tough from the far side there for his right foot. But it's 7 points apiece. What a start to this game.
Yeah, that almost feels like a 14-point swing, Bobby, with Eben Etzebeth. If he gets it wrong, it's like a penalty try and a yellow card for him. France 14-0 up, but he got it right. They worked their way out and got their score.
Restarts, and France send it long the way of Eben Etzebeth, and he gathers it with his huge limbs. Almost got his head taken off there, but it's okay, says the referee. All's fair in this match. Franco Mostert now, he's quite often the unsung man in the second row, but he's so reliable, and he gets it back, and a good clearing kick for South Africa. Good exit, takes play almost up to halfway.
Yeah, the one thing that hasn't come up in the conversations we've had so far this evening is that, you know, there is a Handré Pollard versus Manny Libbok kicking debate, but out of hand, Libbok is an amazing, you know, the exit kicks that you know are so important, Grace.
You saw that there. He almost didn't catch the ball, just cushioned it on his hands, pushed it down towards his foot and leathered it to the halfway line. Great skills.
Berto Malvaca, the French hooker, having to just resort to hand gestures to make his instructions clear, and a shortened line out taken down beautifully by Olivon, so often the go-to man, the former captain at the line out, and France carry it through midfield, just creeping into the South African half, and then a hush from the crowd, and then the expectation grows again as Dupont sends it high up to the stands and down, beautifully placed just outside the 22 and went backwards, and here's Malvaca again crashing on. What a start to the game he's had, the hooker for France, into the Springbok 22. Well, there's a knock-on spotted there, and Ben O'Keefe saw it. French players and certainly the French fans disagree, as is their wont. So
well, actually I disagree, because there were 2 knock-ons there, and I think France didn't quite get enough advantage. I mean, maybe you can give me an indication. They had 3 or 4 metres, not much more, Grace.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, the referee's right on top of it. He saw what he saw. Malvaca didn't moan too much, a little bit, but a brilliant kick from Antoine Dupont.
You see, now I thought Cheslin Colby knocked that on first, and they were playing an advantage.
I think it was Penaud just managed to get enough interference to work it back.
12 minutes.
All's fair then to Ben O'Keefe.
All's fair in love and rugby. That's not an expression, is it? Anyway, first scrum of the game, 12 minutes gone, and here the home support again try and give an extra few ounces to their side. Dwayne Vermeulen, the old warhorse, now 37, just prepares to settle in at the back of the South African scrum, just pulls in the shocks of the men in front of him and then just drives in, and it crumples in a heap. So reset. Interestingly, South Africa's scrum hasn't been quite as efficient at times in this World Cup. If you look at it compared to the line-out, but it's all relative. It's still mighty indeed. I should take this chance to run through the side. South Africa front row of Kitsoff, Mbonambi, Malherbe. Second row, Etzebeth, Mostert, Kolisi, Pieter-Steph du Toit and Vermeulen. In the back row, then the half-backs, Reinach and Libbok. Midfield, De Allende and Kriel. On the wings, Colby and Arendse, and Willemse at full-back. Just about good to go again in the scrum. Cyril Bay, Malvaca and Antonio up front for France. Woki and Flamand in the second row. Gelon, Olivon, Aldrit in the back row. Then Dupont, Jalibert, Danty and Ficou, Penaud and Bielbiari on the wings, and Ramos at full-back. And France looked to have a little bit of a shove there, but then South Africa steady things. No side getting the upper hand there, but Reinach now uses it. And here go South Africa again, looking for the clearance through Willemse, their full-back, and he's put a huge right boot in that. And the touch judge on the far side scampers up with his flag stretched above his head up to halfway.
3 times deep in South Africa's territory, 3 good exits. It makes a massive difference in a game like that. If that had been a skewed kick, you know, going off in the 22 area, they've got an attacking line out. They've got to build play again. They've got to go through 5-6 phases to make sure that they're on the front foot for attack. So South Africa is sticking to the plan.
Now line out again, and this is where South Africa have been so strong in this World Cup. So Malvaca looks to his target, but again with Woki and Olivon, wonderful line out jumpers. Francis Woki takes it down the mall, making ground again, but taken down by blue, says Ben O'Keefe. So nothing doing there for France. And Dupont looks in a black scrum cap tonight, this short and powerful, heavily muscled figure. Dupont just flings it out the way of Donty coming in there and not making too much ground. Penalty decision to France, just inside the French half.
Yeah, Steven Kitsoff really went for that. He came in. We'll have a look at where the entrance was, but I'm not sure that. Yeah, Ben O'Keefe's called it there. He said he's coming from the side.
Thibaut.
Let's look at it right here. Ball's placed.
Thibaut.
He's got the hands coming over.
Just with your line out, make sure your back
So
foot
tough.
doesn't come outside the 15.
So tough. He's gone for it. You know, you don't get all of them. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. And he's given away an opportunity for 3 points to France.
It's an opportunity, an outside opportunity, because it's just inside the South African half, and it's only about 10 metres from that far side touchline, so this will be over 50 metres on the angle, or thereabouts 50 metres. But Toma Ramos, we talk about kickers and how important they are to have someone who can keep on turning over the scoreboard, and Ramos, the top scorer in this World Cup, top scorer in the Six Nations. This one will test him though. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Oh, again, a sweet strike. Is it going to get there? Oh, off the upright. Down it goes, gathered in by Willemsen, his own in-goal area, and just trying to buy himself a bit of room before sending the clearing kick. It doesn't quite find touch. Beautiful take. And here is Dupont. Dupont gives it on to Woki. And Woki sets it back. Stretches out an arm. Dupont, little pop over the top, and now it's a race back to that ball taken by Reinach, and Reinach under pressure. But again, composed, gives that ball away to Mani Lebok. Oh, and Lebok skirts away from one challenge and another. And now 15 metres from their own try line, South Africa. Cool under pressure. And just popped out to Dwayne Vermeulen. When the ball is loose. Penalty though to South Africa, just inside their 22. Reinach is furious and venting his fury. The referee.
Fix the ball.
Interesting, that's the third time France have gone for that little dink over the top. They've obviously spotted something in the backfield coverage of the Springboks, the space for them. They put them under some pressure, scored a try from it too.
Jonathan Donty's down receiving some treatment. He's been in the wars over the last season or so. He's been out for quite some time.
And it was Donty that was off his feet there, just stealing the ball. But that contest on the ground, I mean, it is just so good. We're watching the replays of a very good kick. I mean, you know, what's that, half a metre?
Yeah, that was the only thing that denied Toma Ramos. But here we are still, France 7, South Africa 7. 17 minutes gone in the last of the quarterfinals. Didn't look straight at the line, but Ben O'Keefe says it's fine, so South Africa have it right on halfway now. Opportunity for the wings to attack again. These dangerous wings almost linking up there. Curtly Aronson and Cheslin Colby still with South Africa, just creeping over the French 10-metre line. Back it comes to Lebok from just inside the French half now, sends it high. Taken down by Woki, a juggle. Oh, it goes to Damien Dalende. Dalende is way, chased down by 4, 5 French players. Sets it back 3 metres out. South Africa come herring in again. Oh, try South Africa. The French defence slipped away, and it was Damien Dalende, the centre, who got in at the end. He started it with his break. He was there to finish it. And after being stunned early on by France, South Africa take the lead.
Playing away out to the left-hand side. They work the ball through their hands, get right to the edge, and then the ball goes back in field to Lebok. No thoughts about running with it. He goes to the air. The kicking that Bobby's been talking about, absolutely on the money. Voki made a mistake. Made a hash of it, to be fair. Then the bounce of the ball. Dialendi involved twice. It was a great kick from Lebok. They've got men waiting out there. Cameron Voki got it wrong. Pinched by Dialendi. A show and go makes the break. Then they recycle quickly. I'll tell you what, Antoine Dupont made the tackle. And if he wasn't injured, he'd have put his head over the ball there, I think. Because he was the last man. We've seen him do it before. He had to bail out sensibly. Dialendi got himself back on his feet and scored.
Well, any questions about Mani Lebok? You know, his place kicking, as Bobby was saying, not that it doesn't matter, but he does so much that's so good elsewhere in the pitch. And that kick there from hand, Bobby was talking about how good he is from hand with his kicking. It was placed in a six-man. Woki reaching up with one arm to try and take it or pat it back or do something. Lost it. Dialendi with a try. And now Mani Lebok from just outside the 22, about 10 metres from that far side touch. And it's a tester for the conversion, shoves it wide. France 7, South Africa 12, and a stone-faced Fabien Galtier in the French coaching box. But this is where, playing South Africa, as South Africa knew playing France, they've had to come back from 7-0 down, and France have to try and respond now themselves.
They've done it through the kicking game, haven't they? South Africa, contestable kicks, well-planned kicks, and then a good finish.
Restart again by Jalibert, goes long, taken down by Dwayne Vermeulen. And he paws at the ground and snorts and charge forward, and there's a decent charge as well, 10 metres earned, which just clears a bit of room for Lebok now. Just got it beyond the outstretched arms of Antoine Dupont, who's heading down on him. Now taken in by Jalibert, but he takes the thump from a couple of South African players as well. On the South African 10-metre line, 10 metres from that far side touch. France with the ball, and they come again. Woki keen to atone for his sins at the last passage of play. Cyril Bay, early try scorer, carries it in, and Dupont skips over the limbs to get that ball away and comes in again. Reinach seizing upon him, but Dupont moves it, and now down the blind side they go. It's Charles Olivon just about up to the South African 22. Dupont comes in, it's quick ball again for France to play with. And now up to the fringes of the 22. The ball was loose, but it's being flung around by France. Jonathan Danty, almost a gap there, and then straight into two men. That would have hurt. And now France move it wide again, giving out to Damien Penaud, trying to make space from nothing. Antoine Dupont has it now inside the South African 22, taken on by Thomas Ramos, the fullback, up to within 9 metres. Here comes France again, and here comes the noise in the stadium, willing them on. Oh, it's been seized. Khaleesi is in there, and the two captains, Khaleesi and Dupont, wrestling over the ball. It's still there just with France. Malvaka, the hooker, picks and goes, but goes no further. Down before he can get any metres gained. Alele Bleu, cry the crowd again, but South Africa get hands over it. Penalty to France. Quickly taken by Dupont. Dupont gives it out. Malvaka for the try. Try for France in the corner. Well, what a start to this game. 2 tries apiece. With Cyril Bay scoring in that corner, and now another forward, Beato Malvaka, the hooker. What a game he's had so far. He gets in. A conversion to take the lead. And this game is living up to all billing.
Extraordinary output from France when they get on the front foot. The momentum in the carries and the strength. I think they're clearing the ruck so well that almost South Africa are getting caught going back after a ball that's already gone. But don't take your eyes off Antoine Dupont for 1 minute. Carries the ball, runs at Khaleesi, commits him, hits his hooker, scores in the corner.
Yeah, just brilliant play from Dupont. He took it quickly. He was decisive. Amazing. I mean, the stadium is going absolutely off. We've got the full 70 and more thousand just dancing in the seats. It's absolutely an incredible atmosphere.
It is heaving in here, heaving and singing and dancing, and the whole place is moving. And now just settles, quietens for Thomas Ramos. France 12, South Africa 12. But a conversion to edge France in front. Oh my goodness, he's been charged down. He's been charged down. You do not see that. So how far out was he there? 30 metres. Cheslin Colby, as soon as he saw Thomas Ramos start his move, he hailed out to the blocks. I mean, he almost overran it. He was there waiting. That is amazing work by Cheslin Colby.
We saw Colby do it in the French top 14 competition a few times. He always does it, especially when it's a kick of that kind of importance, and I love it. The attention to detail. He knows Ramos takes his kick off slowly.
Yeah, he did. He just eased into that kick, Thomas Ramos, and Cheslin Colby knew that, chased it down. We'll be getting an update from Cardiff City Stadium, Wales against Croatia in just a moment. The next breakdown in play, but France have it, and Dupont just teasing it back again past the outstretched legs. Told to use it, he's taken far more than 5 seconds here. Dupont could easily have been penalised for that. Sends it long though, and it's gathered in just outside the South African 22 by Manie Lebok. Gives it on to Jesse Creel, first touch of the game I think for Creel, the outside centre, waiting on the wing here and getting just inside the French half. And now Bongi Mbonambe, the hooker, crashes up over that halfway line, deep into the South African half it goes now with a pass back to Willemse. He sends it to the skies and it's knocked forward. No, says the referee, as Ramos took it. And Ramos now can wheel and send it over the top again, and the chase is on from Biel Biaré. The kick just going a little bit too far and giving Willemse time to clear, and he sends it into touch on the far side, and France aren't going to take the quick throw this time. And we will get that update from the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales against Croatia. Sheridan Robbins.
It is still Wales 0, Croatia 0, but Croatia have Livakovic in goal to thank for the fact that it is still goalless. One save from Harry Wilson's free kick and another fingertip save from Nico Williams. It's still Wales 0, Croatia 0.
Thank you, Sheridan. Howls of anguish and frustration from the crowd, and seeing a replay of a pass to Jesse Creel, which they thought went forward, or were they seeing something else? They were seeing a bit
Creel led in with his elbow a little bit into Dupont.
There we are. Line out is a bit of a mess, but France have it. Olivon gets it to ground on the South African 10-metre line, 15 metres from that far side touch. Cyril Bay just rumbles forward the loose head prop and then rolls, and then it's set back for Dupont again, and Dupont and Aldrit link up, the great friends and teammates, the number 8 and the number 9, and there's Uini Antonio, all 23 stone of him, making a bit of a dent, but then loose pass and good pressure from South Africa, and Pieter-Steph du Toit gives it on. There's Jesse Creel stabbing it on. Cheslin Colby is up with the kick and nobody will get him. Colby frees his legs, gallops in, try South Africa. Brilliant try. 5 tries in this game already, 25 minutes gone. South Africa move back in front.
React and adapt, we said in the build-up. The reaction to that turnover there in midfield, swift, clinical. Tagged, Dupont was tagged by Etzebeth trying to clear from the ruck, and they won the ball on the bottom. My only question was whether Colby was in front when the kick went through from Creel, bang on the halfway line. I don't think there's going to be a check.
Well, we're looking down. They showed us the high overhead shot as you look down. He did look to be marginally in front, but it was so well executed, Bobby.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, we said helter skelter. I don't know what else to say. 5 tries, it's just extraordinary rugby back and forth. And hats off, France playing brilliantly, South Africa countering with some amazing counter-attacks as well. And it's a combination of two teams. We spoke about this strategy into execution. The execution has been absolutely outstanding.
So once again to Manie Lebok, not having a look at the...
I'll restart it, don't worry. Just stop the shot clock, please, thank you.
Stopping the shot clock, just for something.
Thank you. Okay, restart the shot clock,
Ready to go
please.
again. So they're not having a look at that potential
It'll be fine, it's restarted.
offside of Colby in front of the kicker. It was such a well-worked try. And now Manie Lebok.
Someone restart their shot clock, please.
5-point lead for South Africa at the moment, and Lebok he's about 8 metres in from this near side touch, just down in front of us. About 28 metres, or maybe 30 metres out. And again, there'll be a few boos, the French crowd getting frustrated here, and Lebok, has he brought this one round enough? It is coming round, and the flags do go up, so it's a 7-point try for South Africa. It's France 12, it's South Africa 19, 28 minutes gone.
Lovely touch from Jesse Creel. We know what a confrontational ball carrier is, but there's subtle skill. He got the call from his winger, stuck it on the toe. I thought maybe he'd made a mistake, but obviously the backfield was completely clear. Great stuff from the South African 13.
France score, South Africa score, France do so again, South Africa come back, and South Africa leads. It is back and forth. France 12, South Africa 19, 28 minutes gone. The last of the quarterfinals in the 2023 Rugby World Cup on 5 Live. And cries of a Lele Blue, but they're just getting a little bit fainter at the moment. 3 tries for South Africa, 2 though for France. Uini Antonio almost lifted back by Etzebeth again. Such a task, and Damien Penaud has it on the wing and he's chasing down his own kick at the moment. How does it bounce? Khaleesi can't quite gather it. South Africa in trouble, 5 metres from their own line. And cries of foul from the French replacements down in that corner. Still with South Africa though, they have it. And it's Cheslin Colby who goes into play scrum half because Cobus Reinach is otherwise engaged. And they ask the heavy men to try and drive away from their own try line just a little bit. Right down in that corner. And here come the waves of noise from the stands again, rolling down to the pitch as Manny Libok sends a clearing kick, a good clearing kick, but he was so deep inside the in-goal area, not much angle. He's almost got play out of the 22.
He did well there, Libok. He obviously equal facility off both feet. That time he stepped onto his left, a superb clearing kick, but it came from another chip over the top. I thought Penaud could have passed inside to Gillon, but he made the right choice. Gillon was running in quicksand and would have gone nowhere.
Malvaka, one of France's try scorers, hits his target in Woki at the line out, just outside the South African 22. Donty, my goodness, he piled his way through the defence there. Still with France, just inside the South African 22. Maul is called, and Maul, it moves now for France. They're having some joy with the Maul, but it's picked off the back by Dupont. Little stab through. Colby wins the race ahead of Damien Penaud. Right in the corner, though, into touch. It's going to be a 5-metre line out to France.
Okay, sit.
Bit of old school there, Bobby. They knocked it up with 20 metres in, passed it back to Antonio deliberately to set them all up.
Yeah, they set the driving maul in the middle of the field. I mean, anyone just listening into this now, the absolute physical brutality of this game, as well as the deftness and engineering out back, it's just extraordinary to watch.
South Africa do not challenge the line out, taken by Woki, given on to Malvaka. Little loop around by the hooker, brought down 3 metres out. France come in, and it's fed out wide again, driving to the line, just short. Yes, they cry, but it's held up, says the referee. It's still there, just short. France still have a try. Oh, what a game. 3 tries apiece, the drive over, and the man coming up is Cyril Bay. The loose head gets his second. France have their third. South Africa now cry foul, and Khaleesi has it explained to him by Ben O'Keefe. What a game, what a game.
5-metre line out for all money. You think France are going to drive the maul and try and get over. They've been so powerful in that aspect. They dummied it this time, and they went to Malvaka on the back peel. Huge dummy from the hooker, almost made the bust. Then Donty comes flat. The leg drive of his teammates to get behind him didn't quite manage to get over the line. And Cyril Bay recycled. Loose head prop is on for a hat-trick.
Yeah, he is an outstanding player, Cyril Bay, and this is an outstanding game. I know we're eulogising about it, but sometimes when you give a game the big billing and you expect so much, it can flatter to deceive and disappoint a little bit, but here none of that. And the French players, all except Thomas Ramos, who is busy with his preparation for his conversion, and they're gathered in a circle inside their own half, and Colby is ready to sprint off his line again and charge this down, but he would have time to get there. This time Ramos just easily slots it through. 19 points apiece in this quarter-final at the Stade de France.
And in the build-up and wondering how the game was going to go and whether teams would shrink with the enormity of the occasion, the pressure. This is a boxing match. They're standing in the middle of the ring, just trading blows one after the other.
Just quickly to Cardiff City Stadium, half-time Wales-Croatia, Sheridan Robbins.
It is 0-0, and a draw wouldn't be enough for Wales, but they've certainly had the better of this first half, with Croatia's goalkeeper being the busier. The Red Army still believe, with David Brooks continually finding Nico Williams in space. Can they get the goal in the second half? Half-time, it's Wales 0, Croatia 0.
Sheridan updates throughout and this match here, of that match there, and Norway against Spain, with Scotland poised to qualify if Spain can take something from that game. Norway have to win in Oslo. And great work by Cheslin Colby. Oh, he's folded back there. That looked awkward as the winger took it in just inside the South African half, but all is fair, says the referee. South Africa still with it. Libok sends it high. It's gone up to the top tier of this huge stadium. Down it comes. Oh, what a take by Peter Steph du Toit. The giant blonde flanker just reached up both arms and plucked it out of the air. And now South Africa up over the French 10-metre line. France claim that they have it. The ball is loose. Oh, and Manny Libok, can he gather? Not quite. Knocks it on. France have it just outside the 22. Ramos, the fullback, took it in. And now it's with Antoine Dupont, shut down by Kitshoff and company. And so they'll come back for that little knock-on by Manny Libok. And it'll be a French scrum midway between the 22 and their 10-metre line.
Sorry? God, it's chaotic, isn't it? Everybody absolutely piling in. No second thoughts here, just flat out. Every time that ball bounces backwards towards the France line, you think a South African player is going to steal it and break away again.
Let's just get a half-time update from Norway against Spain in Oslo. Shojo Sarkar.
Yeah, it is half-time. Norway 0, Spain 0. Alvaro Moratas had the ball in the net for Spain. That was ruled out for offside after a VAR check. Erling Haaland had one chance at the other end, half a chance, shot blocked. It is 0-0, and remember, if Norway fail to win, Scotland will qualify for the Euros.
We are remembering just that. So, have we had one scrum so far? One sort of reset scrum a couple of times, but we're well beyond the half-hour mark. 34 minutes gone. I think this is the second setting of a scrum, or the second scrummage in this match. And again, it is the Marseillaise in the Stade de France. They're being richly entertained here. 80,000, and there must be 75,000 or 70,000 plus supporting the home side. It is a French scrum just outside their own 22, right in the centre of field. And if South Africa are to put the pressure on here...
Keep their belt behind where it is. Elbow up. Back up, please.
Good to push you guys down.
The balance is good. Keep the height this side.
You've got to be a bit of a barrack room lawyer in the front row to state your case and try and convince the referee that they are having real difficulties here, ref. Can you see how I'm dominating?
Elbow up. Height this side.
And it's an ongoing conversation. I mean, it's a long-term case, isn't it? It's been argued from minute 1 to minute 80.
I think for referees it just becomes white noise after a while. Anyway, we're ready to scrummage again. 19 points apiece between France and South Africa, the last of the quarter-finals, to decide who will play England here in a week's time. And we've only had
time's off.
A couple of scrummages, but they haven't gone well, so we're resetting.
Keep your weight. Tell the locks behind you to not push forward. Okay? The same thing, keep your weight. We must have good scrums to stay up. Okay? I'm not going to keep talking to both teams.
We're good.
We're all good.
Stay in the
Says
scrum.
everybody to the referee.
Stay in. Time back on.
So we have in that front row there for South Africa the red-haired giant Stephen Kitsoff, then Bongi Mbonambi at hook, and Franz Malherbe is just again an enormous bearded figure at tight head. But even more sizable is Uini Atonio in the tight head for France, alongside Malvaka and Cyril Bay, who's a wonderful scrummager as well, Cyril Bay, and a man who scored 2 of France's 3 tries. The wave that is going around the Stade de France will die now as the scrum goes down. The decision is play on. Dupont under real pressure from Reinach. Gets it away to Jalibert. Floats it over the top to Bielbiare. And he can't free himself with his sprinting speed, so decides to kick and just sends it too long. It's gathered in comfortably by Damien Willemse.
Wow.
What a...
He's caught the mark and immediately called for a scrum. He's caught the mark in his own 22 and immediately called for a scrum.
Why has he done that?
Because South Africa are going to go for France and win a penalty.
Is that,
I'm sure.
In their own 22...
I can't believe it.
Both of you went down that last scrum.
I'm not sure why Damien Willemse has done that. Called for the mark and said scrum. So we're inside the South African 22 now. We've got 3 minutes to go in this first half. And if France can put the pressure on, suddenly what a chance they have.
Probably surely that's a coaching, a little bit of something that's come from Razi Onina, but say, do you know what, if we're up, we can do it.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, you don't want the match to be decided by it, but you know, Damien Willemse is a senior-ish player. He's still young enough to be a little bit hot-headed, I would imagine, and maybe he's gone and said, you know, that's what we spoke about in the week, and it's my job to do that. It's an extraordinary decision.
Nice for the fullback to say, right, heavy boys, you can push. I'll be lucky here at fullback. But so we've got this scrum now. It is a South African scrum, but it's inside their own 22. Oh, and they try and melt yes, they do get the penalty. What a scrummage by South Africa. But it's an attack now, a free attack has slipped by Jesse Creel. Back they come for that penalty. So is that just a bit of alpha mailing there?
Could well be.
I mean, again, so the man penalised was Cyril Bay.
I mean, if you think about the result, though, so now they've won a penalty scrum, and when they kick the line out, it's their ball and their attack, whereas before it was a France ball, and maybe...
It's a big gamble, that,
it's
though,
a massive gamble. Of course it is.
But they have that penalty now. We just saw a bit of a flexing of scrummaging muscle from South Africa there. They got the penalty.
He's caught it.
Oh, and Bielbiare has kept it in field, so it comes to nothing for South Africa. This time the mark is not called by Cobus Reinach inside the South African 22, and now he clears for touch, and it'll be a French line out in the 10-metre line. A minute and a half to go, and France have this attacking platform.
Yeah, South Africa, the net result there has definitely benefited France. I mean, that's an amazing piece of play.
Yeah, Louis Biel-Biarré on the wing. He leapt up, a tiny figure on the wing in the red scrum cap, and he leapt up and was almost out of play and then took it, then landed in play. And so France have the line out on the 10-metre, on the South African 10-metre line, taken down by Cameron Woki. And then Donty on the crash, nearing half-time here. France 19, South Africa 19, 3 tries apiece. Is there something more from this pulsating first half? Uni Antonio doesn't look too comfortable as he goes down there. Advantage to France, so they'll have possibly a kick at goal, possibly a kick to touch. But here they still have an attack, they still have that ball. Jalibert flings it out. They will come back for that penalty now. So France have options to end this first half. They can kick for touch, they'll be allowed to take the line out, or Ramos can have a proper goal. But I watched Antonio go down, and he didn't look comfortable when he went down. Went down in an awkward position, and he's receiving treatment now. He's just getting prodded and poked in scientific terms by the physio, but felt something there, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he caught a knee from one of his own players in the breakdown when he was on the ball around the kind of cheekbone area. He's still down and receiving. What an extraordinary passage of play that is, though. A fullback calling a mark and immediately calling a scrum. South Africa doing what we thought they would do, destroyed the French scrum. Libbok misses touch only via Biel-Biarré's amazing bit of skill. There's a bit more to and fro, and then suddenly France have got a penalty.
Yeah, it's had a bit of everything this match, and the conversion charge down by Colby. It's 19 points apiece. I wonder if that might be a deciding factor later in the game. Now, we're going to look at potential foul play.
Yes, Ben, I'm going to show you head-on-head contact by South Africa 4.
Wow. Eben Etzebeth is the man singled out for potential head-on-head contact by the TMO Brendan Pickerel.
Here comes your first angle, Ben.
So we're watching it again, and it is Owen. So it's Etzebeth, and that's why Antonio went down feeling his head, because Etzebeth's giant bones has hit him. And well, we'll let the TMO and the referee have the discussion, then we'll have our say.
Yeah, so he needs to be right, it's head on head. So I've got foul play that reaches yellow card threshold. It's 4. Okay? What's that? Yeah. Okay, so BP, we have foul play reaches yellow card threshold. We've got direct contact to the head. The player needs to be lower. You agree with that?
Yeah, that is correct, Ben. Clear head-on-head contact.
So Etzebeth's going to get a yellow here.
When you're ready.
Yeah, coming back to you now.
See ya, number 4.
He's burst open his own nose as well, Etzebeth, I think.
Yes. 1, away please. So we've got direct head-on-head contact. It is foul play, you need to be lower. So it's a yellow card, it's foul play and a review.
So it's foul play and a review. The arms are crossed of Ben O'Keefe, so golf, it could be upgraded to red. It might stay yellow. Eben Etzebeth has a hug with Uini Antonio. Didn't intend anything, needs to be lower. Hard when you're 6'8", but
45.
Etzebeth, it was made clear to him there. Off he goes.
And it's the balance of control. Etzebeth was travelling at pace. He did drop his height. He's a very tall man. He did drop his height, but Antonio's got great feet. Stepped off his left, and that's what I think caught Etzebeth out.
That's what Khaleesi was saying to the referee. He was saying change of direction there, even from Antonio, who is, despite 23 stone, he's a great mover.
And I think if you look at the incident, it's more of a glancing blow on the head and then straight onto the shoulder. He's not gone in there to try and hurt him. You worry that mitigation would have been enough.
So all that to be decided in the second half, but here, last kick, last touch of this first half, right as the clock ticks to 40 minutes. Thomas Ramos steps forward, through it goes, and France will lead at the break. What a half of rugby in this last quarter-final here in the Stade de France. 3 tries apiece from end to end, try from one side then the other, back and forth, but it ends with that penalty from Thomas Ramos. South Africa down to 14 men as well, perhaps permanently, we'll see, but France lead by 22 points to 19 at the break.
Bobby Skinstad, are you going to get through this game?
Oh my goodness, I've got no fingernails left. I've got no nerves. The nerves are frayed. nails it to the quick. But what a cracking game. I mean, it's amazing. This is what we were hoping for. This number of tries, this much action. It's been amazing, forwards and backs. I've got to say, I mean, Cyril Bayer to have scored 2 tries. I mean, this is just an amazing opportunity to have a look at, some of the best players in the world playing at their peak.
I thought, Paul Grayson, the first half of Ireland-New Zealand was absolutely sensational. This has been better.
We're running out of words, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't overstate. I mean, you get to half-time, it's felt like about 10 minutes, and they've just been absolutely going for it from minute one. The noise in the stadium's been incredible. Some of the output by France on the front foot is extraordinary. The waves of attack, that first driving maul that went 20 metres. South Africa have got a game plan, 2 phases, bang it in the air, win the aerial battle, pick up the scraps, go and score. They've done it 3 times. Unbelievable stuff.
I think it's been that good that actually the fans inside this stadium have realised they have to pace themselves slightly. There's this French chant where they're basically the English translation is, if you don't jump, then you're not French. And they are all bouncing around. We ended the half with a Mexican wave, which is a little bit easier on the body. The fans in this stadium have been absolutely sensational. It's been so loud throughout the first half. And I actually said, Bobby, that we're going to have to wait till next summer to see the fastest athletes in the world. Cheslin Colby is unbelievable.
Oh, look, all the wingers have got it. You've got to, doff the cap, because they've been chasing every high ball. They've made the effort to get across the field for the kicks. They've been, reeling in the opposition. I mean, Cheslin Colby with a charge down, absolutely extraordinary. And at this kind of level, to have that kind of dedication, get out there and still, really put it on the line. I mean, it's that kind of thing that can affect a match like this.
I was trying to read your sort of comments just before the half-time whistle there, gents. Is the feeling from the two of you that, I mean, you never really know. I know you never really know. But is it likely that Eben Etzebeth yellow will stay a yellow?
Personally, I think he dropped significantly to make the challenge, and the movement from Antonio I think is enough mitigation to say that it wasn't intentional. Yes, it was direct head on head, but he was making his best efforts to make a low tackle, and he's a giant.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'8". I hope so. I mean, you don't want a red card for any team, for either team. I certainly don't want a French red card in this game at all. And Etzebeth is down. I mean, both his knees are bent. He's gone. As they move towards the inside, it definitely, it's head on head. So that is the yellow card, and we know the threshold, so that goes. But hopefully the mitigation is enough to just have the 10 minutes and not more.
Bobby Skinstad sounds like Matt Dawson sounded at full time in the England game, and we've still got another 40 minutes at least to go. Simply put, one of the great halves of World Cup rugby. France 22, South Africa 19, with the man advantage, with him in the bin, Etzebeth, for the next 10 minutes. So it looks like it's a big advantage to France. It could get bigger, but regardless, this has been absolutely sensational. We'll be back in the Stade de France after the news with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Israeli troops are continuing to arrive near Gaza ahead of an expected ground offensive. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the aim is to destroy Hamas after it carried out an attack in Israel, killing more than 1,400 people, including many civilians. Our Middle East correspondent Tom Bateman is in Jerusalem.
There is a huge number of Israeli troops now around the Gaza perimeter. We were talking yesterday, weren't we, about a long statement from the Israeli army talking about the logistics and the supplies, and effectively saying they were building up forces and they were prepared. What they've said today is that now the decision on launching a ground invasion is a political one, which I think suggests that from a military perspective, they believe that they are ready. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister, held a full meeting of his cabinet this afternoon, reiterated that their objective is to crush Hamas, he said, and, all the signals are that this ground offensive is going to happen soon.
Palestinian health officials say airstrikes have killed more than 2,500 people in Gaza. Doctors have warned of a health catastrophe. Water supplies to southern Gaza have been switched back on after talks between the Israeli and US governments. Scotland's First Minister Humza Yousaf has family inside Gaza. He's calling for an immediate ceasefire.
We cannot stand idly by and allow people's lives to be lost, their homes to be destroyed, their hospitals to be bombed, because of the disgraceful actions of a few which I condemn unequivocally. They are being collectively punished, and that cannot be justified.
UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon say their headquarters has been hit by rocket fire. It follows the most intense fighting there in a week between Israel and the Lebanese militia Hezbollah. This group, like Hamas, has been designated a terrorist organisation by the UK, US and other countries. Well, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has visited Jordan, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates and Egypt to hear how they're viewing the crisis. It's in a bid to stop the situation in the region escalating. But the Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi says the risk of a wider regional conflict breaking out is very high.
In these kind of situations, things could take their own momentum and push us where we don't want to go. So there is a real high of this conflict spilling over into the West Bank, into Lebanon, and from there to the rest of the region. And that's an extremely alarming possibility that we're working so hard to prevent. But unfortunately, the chances are real.
We'll keep you across this story throughout 5 Live Sport and on the BBC News website and app. Elsewhere now, the SNP conference in Aberdeen has approved a new approach to securing independence. It voted through a motion which said winning a majority of Scottish seats at the next election would be a mandate for holding a new referendum. And Network Rail has apologised to customers after rail services suffered severe delays out of London Euston today. A signal point failure caused all lines to shut for a time.
BBC 5 Live.
The voice of sport. England host Italy as their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign continues.
Alexander-Arnold wraps his foot around it. It's over the top of Funk. Grealish takes it down and scores. Watkins sliding in might have got the final touch on the goal line.
Hear live commentary Tuesday nights from 7:45. Euro 2024 qualifiers. England versus Italy on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Every game live. Rugby World Cup 2023 on 5 Live, Radio 5 Sports Extra and the BBC Sport website with Steve Crossman.
It has been an absolutely extraordinary first half here inside the Stade de France. It's France 22, South Africa 19 in the last of the Rugby World Cup quarter-finals. It's nerve-shredding for everybody here. World Cup winner Bobby Skinstad has just nipped off just to have a little word with himself and take a few deep breaths. And there is a collective breath being had by the French fans around us here at the Stade de France as well. So many nerves for Scottish football fans tonight as well, of course. Remember, if Norway do not beat Spain tonight, Scotland go to the Euros in Germany next summer. It's 0-0 at the start of the second half. There has been a goal, though, in the match between Wales and Croatia. Sheridan Robbins.
Yes, just 2 minutes into this second half, and the roof came off the Cardiff City Stadium as Harry Wilson marked his 50th cap with a superb solo run and dinked it over the keeper. Wales keeping their qualification hopes alive. It's Wales 1, Croatia 0.
Second half commentary on the way here inside the Stade de France. Elsewhere in the Cricket World Cup, stunning story. Afghanistan beating England by 69 runs. It's only their second ever win at a 50-over World Cup. Let's hear from the England captain, Josh Buttler.
No, we didn't start well. I think that was a big part of the game. They got away to a really good start and put us under a lot of pressure from the outset. And then we just didn't get enough partnerships in the chase to be able to chase that target down.
In hindsight, do you think the right decision was made at the toss?
Yeah, I do. I think maybe the conditions didn't play quite as we would have thought they did. Obviously, throughout our bowling innings, spin was the main threat, and obviously Afghanistan have some fantastic spin bowlers, so that was always going to be the major challenge. Maybe there wasn't quite as much due as we thought there was, and maybe not. The pitch didn't quite play how we thought it was, having watched a few games here so far in the tournament.
How confident were you at the halfway stage you could chase down that score?
Yeah, always very confident in our team. We've got some fantastic players. It wasn't going to be easy, but I think it was possible. I think you watched the way Harry Brook played there. Showed good timing on the wicket. Obviously, it's a small ground, a fast outfield. There's a lot of value for your shots as well, and we just never got the partnerships required to chase the target down.
You mentioned that partnerships is the key, and it's unusual for the England side. You've sort of built yourself on those important partnerships during this very successful time you've had in white ball cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always the aim, and especially if we've got some quality individual players who can bat for long periods of time with somebody at the other end as well. But we've got great character in the team. We have to show a lot of resilience and dust ourselves off after a disappointing day and regroup and go again.
That's just Josh Butler with Adam Mountford in the WSL this afternoon. Arsenal got their first win of the season at the Emirates against Aston Villa. They were 1-0 down in the closing stages but scored twice and won 2-1. Elsewhere, Manchester City went top with a 5-0 win over Bristol City, who were bottom. Leicester is second after drawing 1-1 at Manchester United. Everton won the Merseyside derby at Anfield by 1-0, and it finished Brighton 1, Tottenham 3. One other football line to bring you as well. Rangers have appointed the former Monaco coach Philippe Clement as their new boss following the sacking of Michael Beale last week. More reaction from that game and the rest of the weekend's WSL in the Football Daily podcast with Ben Haynes, Nader Manua, former Lioness striker Jodie Taylor and the Athletics' Katie Wyatt. That'll be on BBC Sounds soon. In Rugby League, London Broncos are back in Super League after beating Toulouse 18-14 in today's Championship playoff final. We can get now a bit more reaction to England's dramatic win against Fiji in their World Cup quarter-final. Steve Borthwick's side survived a surging Fiji comeback. They won 30-24. Here is the England head coach.
Well, I thought the players handled some of the ebbs and flows of that game really well. I thought the controlled the game for large parts, and there was that period where they scored back-to-back tries. And I think what you're going to do is recognise here what a team Fiji are. Jam-packed full of world-class talent, power and pace, and they scored those tries in a way probably no other team in the world can score. But what our team did was find a way to get back ahead on the scoreboard and handled it in a really composed, mature, smart manner.
I was going to ask what was the most pleasing aspect of the game, but was it that final five, that defensive stand?
I think what stuck out for me more than anything else is the incredible support we've had. A lot's been written and said and spoken about what support we get. What I see is an England support that are right behind this team, that I think feel like they're part of this team. We certainly feel that way.
Some individuals really stand out. I know you'd want to look at the team, but your captain Owen Farrell, how pleased are you for him that he kicked his goals and led his side to this point of the World Cup?
I've been saying it right from the start. He's an incredible leader, an incredible player. He just rises to the biggest of occasions, and he led the team phenomenally well today. And you're right, you could talk about every one of the players in that regard of how well they played this evening, and the whole 33 was part of the preparation for that performance.
That's Steve Borthwick. There'll be plenty of reaction in the Rugby Union Daily, which will be available after this game here at the Stade de France. There's currently a VAR check going on in that match between Norway and Spain. Spain might have taken the lead, so sorry Scotland fans, we're just going to leave you with your nails being bitten again. We now have a decision. Shojo Saka.
It is Norway 0, Spain 1. Gavi with the goal, Steve, confirmed after an incredibly long VAR check. Spain 1 up. Norway have never scored more than one goal against Spain in their 9 meetings to date. Unless that changes today, Scotland will be going to the Euros.
Thank you, Shojo. The French team are back out for the second half here at the Stade de France. And here comes South Africa. France 22, South Africa 19. An absolutely stunning first half at the Stade de France. Strap yourself in. Whatever happens in the next 40 minutes, it's going to be dramatic. Listen to the Stade de France. One collective voice. The second half then here with 2 World Cup winners, Bobby Skinstad, Paul Grayson with Andrew Cotter.
I just heard at the end of that that Ben O'Keefe, I was just saying it's going to remain a yellow card.
And the contact glancing with the head. So it's just a yellow card, so he'll come back on after.
So Eben Etzebeth will be back on in about 9 minutes' time or thereabouts. I can't remember how long he served before half-time. I was just so giddy with excitement at the match. Paul Grayson.
Correct decision. Etzebeth, as we said, huge guy, dropped his height. Footwork from Antonio, also a huge guy, factored into it. Right call for me. France need to take the opportunity now against 14 men, however long it is.
That's a psychological boost, Bobby Skinstad, for South Africa ahead of the second half. I think they would have expected it to remain a yellow, but it'll give them a bit of a lift, and Khaleesi will have passed on that news now.
Yeah, well, we looked at it together here, and we feel the right result has come out, and at least it won't affect the game much longer than that.
Bobby Skinstad and Paul Grayson alongside me, 2 World Cup winners, and which of these sides will be going through to the semi-final? France leading at the moment, and they get us underway, playing from right to left as we look down in their dark blue shirts and white shorts, red socks, the red, white and blue up against the green and gold of South Africa, and it's France with the ball. Gregory Aldrit carries it in a quiet game for the number 8 by his very busy standards so far. Jalibert tries to stab it through, it's almost charged down. I think Vermeulen was there getting a big shin to it, and South Africa will have the scrum. 8.5 minutes remaining for South Africa on the sin binning of Ibn Etzebeth. France 22, South Africa 19, and we'll be ready for the first scrum of this second half.
Well, a little bit of a ball to foot opportunity there for France, and clearly something they'd spoken about, maybe that gap that was being exploited by those little dink kicks that Dupont was using. Maybe they feel that there's just a bit of a fracture, that the fullbacks are either too deep or the wings aren't coming off their line enough. They just certainly want to try and get through and around South Africa.
No other changes to the sides at half-time, so for South Africa it's Kitshoff, Mbonambi, Malherbe, Mostert in the second row without Etzebeth, Khaleesi, Dutoy, Vermeulen. In the backs of Reinach, Libbok, Kolbe, De Allende, Kriel, Arendse and Willemse. France by Movaka, Antonio Woki, Flamand, Gelon, Olivon, Aldrit, and then in the backs Dupont, Jalibert, Danty and Fiku in the midfield, Biel Biare and Penaud on the wings, and Ramos at full back. Good scrummage by France. South Africa get it away though quickly, although it's loose, and Khaleesi has to fling it the way of Cheslin Kolbe, and Kolbe then puts a boot on that ball over the head of Louis Biel Biare. Great kick by Cheslin Kolbe. Biel Biare was thinking about the quick line out, but Kurtley Arendse, the other wing for South Africa, was up very quickly to make sure that there was nowhere to throw it for Louis Biel Biare. And again, South Africa with 14 men missing the huge presence of Ibn Etzebeth. So Pieter-Steph du Toit will have gone into the second row of the scrums, but here we are at a line out, and both sides are looking pretty good. These are 2, I think, of the best line-out sides in the world, and taken down by Olivon just for France. And then Dupont makes the best of a bad job, and Reinach gets to him and wrestles him down, but Dupont got the kick away, taken in by Willemse, the fullback, who spins and burrows through a tackle and up over halfway. Turnover is good. France have stolen it. A roar from the crowd. Mavaka, little no-look pass, gives it out. Olivon, Charles Olivon nearly through, up over halfway, giving on to Mavaka, and here's Ramos, the fullback. And the blue shirts come in now in support. It slows down just outside the 22. France attacking again. Galfiku in the wide channels on that wide right side. Into the 22 he goes. Penaud moves it to Olivon. Nearly intercepted, but France still have it. And deeper into the 22 they go. Jonathan Danty gets to ground. Dupont is bustled back, but has that ball. Flings it deep and then spills. Knock on by France. Scrum to South Africa. South Africa working hard with the 14 men in defence. Just under 6 minutes remaining of Ibn Etzebeth's sin binning. France still with that 3-point lead.
Just amazing pressure. I mean, we saw there clearly South Africa had the scrum. Kobus Reinach was going to try a little tack up the short side, and Antoine Dupont was just on him immediately. He knocked that ball backwards. Sia Khaleesi diving on it, then France getting the ball. Amazing clashes back and forth, and I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Olivon or Gregory Aldrit, but it was a lovely turnover from the French loose forwards.
Just waiting for the scrum here, so another update from the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales against Croatia. Sheridan Robbins.
It's Wales 2, Croatia 0. They go above them in the group, and it's Harry Wilson at the double. Great header into the top corner. The Cardiff City Stadium is rocking. Wales 2, Croatia 0.
It sounds it as well, doing his best to rival the Stade de France, which is rather nervous at the moment, but France lead 22-19, and they have that man advantage, but South Africa have the ball. Solid scrum as well, and it's sent through by Damien Willemse, the full back, into touch on this near side, and here come some changes for South Africa. So big changes as well. Hendrik Pollard's coming on, and RG Snyman, the huge second row, is coming on. Faf de Klerk comes on with his blonde hair glistening, looks like a well-groomed Afghan hound, and he replaces Kobus Reinach. I'm surprised at that. Kobus Reinach, that's a Franco Mostert is off for RG Snyman, although again Bobby Skinstad will give the correct pronunciation of RG. Go on, Bobby.
Erge
Snyman. Rudolf Gerardus Snyman. Big change there because Pollard on for Libok at fly half. Faf de Klerk and almost getting onto that ball at the line out there. There's a little short, quick one taken at the front, but Mavaka has it for France. So he's on at scrum half for Kubus Reinach. Just 4 minutes into the second half. Oh, Antoine Dupont chasing down his own kick. Louis Bielbiare trying to get there into the 22. It goes. And Damien Willems, the South African fullback, under pressure. Faf de Klerk going in digging for it. Ball's not there for South Africa. France have it. Now in the 22. South Africa still with 14 men. Etzebeth, 4 minutes to serve of his penance. And here come France again. Anthony Gelon, the flanker, carries. And again the noise grows. Great defence by South Africa. They're up so quickly, blitzing and burying the French players. And South Africa have the penalty. What an effort by the 14 men in defence. Bobby Skinstad.
Yeah, unbelievable. That was Stephen Kitsoff, but it was the rush defence from the outside. I think it was a combination of Creel and Khaleesi managed to just trap man and ball. And the penalty here, Pollard will get South Africa out of their territory and hopefully be able to spend more time in French territory.
No, not going for
well, that's a good kick as well from Pollard, and it will take play up to South African line out on the 10-metre line again. They're doing this with 14 men, and another change being made by South Africa. So again, they are ringing loudly the changes because Dion Fury, who's another veteran, 37 Fury, although he's not played too many times for the Springboks. He was he's coming on, of course, for Sia Khaleesi, because he's a back row player as well, Dion Furia, so he's not coming on for Bongi Mbanambi, the hooker who remains. Furia's played much of his career in the back row, Bobby.
He certainly has. He's able to play both. He's had a couple of seasons for the Stormers at hooker and at flank.
Well, it was a little bit untidy at the line out, but South Africa do get it at the second attempt. So in goes Faf de Klerk, again that blonde hair just bobbing around, and he points the way, looks at the options. Oh, and then Peter Steph du Toit was not quite ready for that, and it came forward off the huge flanker. Oh, and Olivon just lifting up Faf de Klerk. He's smoothing down his hair as he passes by, but don't think there's anything there.
He starts in front, but when he touches the ball, he's onside. Okay, so just a scrum.
So scrum, Antoine Dupont suggesting there might have been a penalty, but it was just the knock-on from Peter Steph du Toit, and it'll be a scrum to France just inside their own half.
Just getting a little bit exercised, the French. 1 or 2 decisions that they've disputed with the referee, close calls. I think pretty much got everything right. They don't want to get diverted from their task.
2 minutes remaining on the sin binning of Eben Etzebeth, and a reminder, it is just a sin binning. It remains a yellow, will not be upgraded to red for that head-on-head contact with Uni Antonio. Mitigating factors taken into account. So scrummage here, France 22, South Africa 19. On the big screen we see Eben Etzebeth just loosening off those huge legs and getting ready to come back into the fray. De Klerk and Dupont side by side. Dupont under the scrum cap. De Klerk, what a figure he is, standing hands on hips and ready to pounce on Dupont here. Dupont has the ball at the back of the scrum, and De Klerk can't quite get to him, so Dupont moves it out, and Jalibert a shimmy and a give and a go, and Olivon is there, and he tries to find support now, and it arrives from Donty for France. Dupont skips in and moves it out. Ficou gives it on to Louis Bielbiare and on to Thomas Ramos. And France up to the edge of the 22, but the ball is lost forward, and Dion Furia has it for South Africa now. Again, the 14 men of South Africa, pressure coming in on Willems, gets his kick away, but here come France again, and Jalibert, oh, a lovely glide and a step, and the fly half up over the 10-metre line. A minute remaining of the sin binning of Etzebeth. France 3 points to the good, and France come again looking to take something from this spell of the sin bin. So far South Africa have stood firm. Mauvaka keeps the ball alive, beautiful pass infield to Damien Penaud, just into the South African 22. It slows for a minute, and then Dupont gets it away again. Siddelby gives it on to Jalibert. Jalibert, oh, lovely timing of the pass, and Anthony Gelon careering on into Peter Steph du Toit. Went forward, and Franz Malherbe, a rather tired looking tight head, collapses on that ball, and de Klerk just waits, and it's left to Colby to move it out, and the clearing kick is decent. 15 seconds remaining in the sin binning. Pollard shakes his head at that one. He wasn't too pleased. A quick thought on those changes very early, Bobby Skinstad, on all those changes.
Yeah, very, very early. I mean, it sounded like, I wouldn't say just, pressing the panic button, but South Africa certainly had some
Yellow card comes back on.
preconceived changes they were going to make, whatever happened. It looked like those, the three players came on, and now Etzebeth is back, and so back to a full complement. And a lovely French welcome back to the field for...
Well, Etzebeth comes on, they boo and they jeer, but it was the right decision. I'm just intrigued by those changes. Libbok and Reinach had looked good, but it's obviously maybe just trying to change the way they're playing as much as anything else. Malherbe is getting mopped up at the moment, a little bit of blood on his cheek, and so we're just going to have a water break here. So a reminder, at the moment, last we heard it, but it was Wales 2-0 up on Croatia and moving ahead of Croatia in that group, and Norway are a goal down to Spain in Oslo. And if Spain win that one, in fact if Spain draw that match as well, Scotland will be through to the finals of Euro 2024. Doing it quite early, doing it without lifting a foot this evening. So 22-19, 9 minutes gone in the second half. France in front, 3 tries apiece. The second half is moving in a different manner to the first. Again, it's no less intriguing, but we haven't had the spectacular free scoring game. So France now making changes. So off goes Cyril Bay, rapturous applause. 2 tries for the loose head. He goes off, replaced by Reda Wardi, the La Rochelle prop in the front row. And also, you can see the huge figure, Roman Taufa-Finua, 21 stone, 6'8", into the second row for Thibaut Flamand. So it's Woki who takes it down at the line out as we go again. Etzebeth back on, both sides at full strength, and the maul pauses for a moment and France decide to shift it. Galficou comes in, good strength from the centre, and Dupont just a little half fumble with it before he gives it out to Gelon. And then it was knocked on by Green, and it was a good strip, and France suddenly have it again. Aldrich bounces off one challenge, Fourier gets him at the second attempt, but France into the 22 again. Dupont and Gelon, the flanker, waits, gathers, drives forward once more, and here come France again. Piato Malvaca, the hooker, getting closer up to within 18 metres of the South African line. It slows, Dupont gives it on to Gelon once again, his childhood friends linking up for France. And Dupont now gives it out to the new man, Reda Wardi, and Wardi makes good ground, and France are creeping forward, muscling on up to within 15 metres. A fumble, a spill, went backwards though. In fact, there's an advantage, penalty advantage to France. No, just a knock forward advantage. All calm. Scrum though to France, 15 metres out, and this is, well, if South Africa are to remain in this game, you feel this next passage of play is so important.
France subs.
And more replacements coming on. 3 more South African replacements. I'm just seeing if they get anyone left, because on comes Kwagga Smith, the combative back row player. Also coming on is Billy Leroux, and then the absolutely square figure of Oxenche is going to come on at prop. So I'm saying who else is there? No, I think that's everybody. Is there? No, Vincent Koch, he's not out there, is he? Is he remaining alone?
Yeah, not yet.
So he's waiting, and another change I think being made as well for France. Francois Cros is getting ready to come on as well in the back row. So we're meeting change with change here. This is where the entire, not the structure changes, but things really do change when all the replacements come on. So who is the deeper squad? Who is the better bench?
Well, that's the thing. South Africa has spent 2.5 years working on what they've been calling the bomb squad from the outside in, and this is the chance for them to come on and make the difference that they need to make. It's a 3-point deficit, and France look in real control here. They've got a good bit of possession in the middle of the 22.
So Anthony Gelon is off for Francois Cros coming on, and a handshake from Anthony Gelon to Dwayne Vermeulen, who's been replaced effectively by Kwagga Smith. Talking to for, let's see, Bongium Benambi is having the chat with the referee alongside Antoine Dupont. So we're ready to go again.
Keep it high.
10 minutes gone, 11 minutes near enough in this second half. France 22, South Africa 19. 3 tries apiece in the first half. The second half, as you might imagine, getting closer to the finish line with all the jeopardy in this stage of the contest and the competition. You can imagine it's going to get more nervous and more tense. It's a different match. Scrum to France, big blindside. Damien Pinot is waiting there, and Sia Khaleesi now off as well. He was one of the changes, so I'm surprised at that as well. I didn't see an injury for Khaleesi, but again, it's pre-planned. It's, as Bobby Skinstad was talking about, they made a real virtue of their replacements, South Africa, and having the great strength on the bench that you might play 45 minutes, 50, 60 at most, and then on come the changes.
And a lot of that chatter has been about their forwards on the bench, 6 forwards on the bench, 7 forwards off the bench. They brought 3 World Cup winning backs, 2 half-backs and a full-back onto the field for these closing half an hour.
Well, a little bit of Freddie Mercury at the Stade de France there, just getting the crowd going as they wait for a reset scrum, but now they do set. France on advantage to France, penalty advantage from that scrum. So Dupont here with this free attack. Jalibert, lovely step, exuberant sidestep. And it was Villy Leroux, I think, who went up nose. Pollard, who entirely bought it. Still with a penalty advantage, and France flinging around. Ball is loose, but gathered again by Beato Malvaca. And there's Gal Ficou wrestling with Faf de Klerk. Still penalty advantage to France. Ficou still alive and still going. Evades another tackle and brought down eventually outside the 22. So they're coming back for the penalty. Hinging, says the referee, at that scrum. And so this will surely be a popped goal.
Your loose head went to his knee right at the start, and then your tight head angled in at the end.
So Oxenche initially, and then Franz Malherbe. And so Bongi Mbanambi, the hooker, who is the captain on the field now after Sia Khaleesi left, getting it all explained to him by the referee, by Ben O'Keefe.
And good chat there from Bongi Mbanambi, went straight in for the conversation. He's in the middle of that scrum. He's taken over the mantle of leader of the forwards there. He's talking to his guys, telling them exactly what went wrong, and France will go and take the opportunity to turn it into a 6-point lead.
Yeah, they're going to have a shot at goal. Again, we've talked about the changes in the decision. I just wonder, Sia Khaleesi, we're talking about him being so inspirational. I didn't see him struggling with anything. Again, is that just a pre-planned thing? But would you not want to have your inspirational captain on the field for longer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, probably pre-planned, maybe something in terms of the minutes that they've played, maybe something in terms of the contribution he's made already. I mean, it's a tough old game. France have gone to the pocket for a couple of reserves coming on as well. I don't think we'd see anything more into it, except that Kwagga Smith and Deon Fourie can both play the same sort of fetcher role that Khaleesi does.
So Ramos then over this penalty just inside the 22, shouldn't trouble him, and doesn't. So the first points of this second half go to France. They double their lead, 25-19 in front, in a match that has become edgy, nervous. Of course it is. Different personnel on the field now, and now South Africa wasting no time in getting us going again. Andre Pollard sends it long from the restart, and Jalibert feeds his forwards. They try and carry their way out to the 22. So the bench is almost emptied by both sides. A few more left from France, but South Africa, the only replacement they haven't brought on is the tight head replacement, Vincent Koch. And up it goes from Dupont again, gets it away. Etzebeth was charging down on him, gathered by Kurtley Arendse, out of play, and he's skipping up the touchline thinking about flinging it infield, but they'll come back for a more organised lineup. Bongi Mbanambi now quickly taken by South Africa. R.G. Snyman sends it back the way of Faf de Klerk, and Faf de Klerk is scrabbling around, and it's all the way behind the scrum half, and South Africa have the ball, but they're under pressure now on their own 10-metre line. But they move it again, move it quickly down that blind side. On the far side, Cheslin Colby and Villy Leroux linking up, and in comes Faf de Klerk, and Roman Tauffa-Finua gets over there, but he's rocked back by another South African figure, R.G. Snyman and Peter Steph du Toit, providing a bit of a wall there. Still the ball with the Springboks. Up it goes. Louis Bielbiere trying to get underneath it, but it's taken down by South Africa, by Kurtley Arendse. And Etzebeth holding it in one giant left hand, carrying it on. and South Africa making ground now. 25-19, France lead. Billy Leroux nearly steps his way through, and still with South Africa, and still they move forwards, and Faf de Klerk moves it left now. Carried in by Kwagga Smith, a smaller man, but he's still going. Great power from the flanker. Etzebeth comes in to add his more substantial weight into the 22. France claim they have it. Penalty to France. They were celebrating the turnover before it was given by the referee, and then the penalty comes.
He lifts the ball, holding on, then he goes off feet after.
Explained to Bongi Mbonambi. Good work by Piauta Malvaka for France.
Picture, he was there on the ball. He goes off feet after.
Bongi Mbonambi does not agree with that.
Not by any stretch. Amazing how South Africa have upped the tempo since they've made their substitutions. Faf de Klerk is a disruptor and an accelerant for their team. Already started to get involved in a quick play.
Another goal in Cardiff, Sheridan Robbins.
It's going to be a nervy last 15 or so minutes. It's Wales 2, Croatia 1. Modric with a corner kick, headed home by Pasalic. It's a little bit of muted atmosphere. It's Wales 2, Croatia 1.
Tense there, tense here, but the crowd are bouncing again inside the Stade de France, and they settle in. Oh, huge slice off the outside of the boot by Mathieu Jalibert from that penalty. Well, the only salvation is that it'll be French ball at the line out, but that was a shocker. It's going to be, 15 metres out from their own line.
Wow, he's kicked the ball maybe backwards 1 or 2 metres, probably looking to, from the middle of the pitch, get over the 10-metre line, give his forwards some relief. That is a flat-out shank.
And now real pressure put on the lineup, but taken down by Cameron Woki, and France try and run it away from their own try line. Aldrit under pressure, he's chopped down around the knees, sets it back well though, and in come France, still deep inside their own 22. They lead 25 points to 19. 17 minutes gone in the second half. Antoine Dupont, again the little figure, the inspiration in that black scrum cap, sends it long, but it goes the way of Cheslin Colby, and Colby, oh what a run by Cheslin Colby, he's still going, then he's shut down, the blue shirts swarm around him, but he's back into the 22. Oh, quick hands, taken on by Kwagga Smith, a mighty fend and swatting aside Damien Penaud. Here comes South Africa again. Bongi Mbonambi crashes forwards. France suggests that he might have lost it forwards, and in fact he did. Scrum to France, 15 metres from their own line. It's all South Africa on the charge at the moment, but the final pieces of the jigsaw not being put into place. Another change for France, bringing on Dorian Aldegheri in the front row. The Toulouse tight head replaces Uini Atonio, who has given his all. My goodness, he's got a lot to give, Atonio, but he's off looking very tired. But what defence again by France. We're watching a replay actually there of Reda Wardy going and making the hit. I'm not sure many arms were involved in that tackle, Bobby Skinstad.
Okay, we're going to restart, everyone.
Well, I don't think we're going to get that to go upstairs, but he definitely didn't look like he was using arms. And what a step by Colby. I mean, inside and out, he's just electric. A little check in the box. Great play by him, and good from South Africa to stay in this game. And, you know, France have been amazing. 2 little mistakes. The first mistake by Jalibert has allowed South Africa to stay there in the pressure, but then they've given their ball back with a knock-on.
So tired bodies out there as Uini Atonio hauls himself off the pitch. An embrace from William Servat. Vincent Koch is warming up, we can see. He's the only one who hasn't been used, but he's got all sorts of garments still on and headphones still in, so I don't think he's coming on anytime soon. So scrum to France, but it's inside their own 22. Sia Khaleesi now with the bright purple bib on the vest put over his green shirt, watching on, looking anxious. Again, there's interesting changes made early in this second half by Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Nienaber. Big scrum here with all the new personnel, and Dupont just mops his brow and looks on, little scar below his eye and that fractured cheekbone just over 3 weeks ago, and here he is back again steering the ship. South Africa putting the squeeze on here. Penalty to South Africa. The bomb squad do their work again. They come on and they have disrupted and driven back the French pack. They get the penalty. Now, decision, Bobby Skinstad, because it's so kickable, but it's also so close to that corner. They're going for the corner.
They've gone straight for the corner. There was no discussion even. Willie Leroux is the most experienced man. He's gone straight in and he's just pointed to the corner. Handré Pollard. What a great scrum by South Africa.
Yeah, that is what they do, and it's a 5-metre line out here, so not going for the 3 points. They trail by 6, South Africa. Over 20 minutes remaining. They have to win this line out. RG Snyman just gets a hand to it, but it goes to French hands now. Well, that was confusion at the line out there. They didn't look quite prepared for what was happening. The ball came in. Snyman just had to reach up. The lifting wasn't in place. And they so rarely lose a line out, and they've lost a 5-metre line out when they could have gone for 3 points, a straightforward 3 points. But France still have to clear. France leading 25 points to 19, just one penalty in this second half after 6 tries in the first. France again cry foul, but the referee says it's fine. Cleaning kick from Dupont, taken down by Cheslin Colby. And Colby again so elusive, but quickly shut down by Charles Olival. Lightning quick flanker who then gets out to Faf de Klerk. Into the shins of Ben O'Keefe it goes. The referee, whose ball is it now? With South Africa, with Faf de Klerk. Wide it goes. Billy Leroux is there trying to pop it over the top to Pieter-Steph du Toit. Just bulldozes into Damien Penaud. De Klerk dancing in, gives it on to him. Benambi, and then on to more support from RG Snyman was there. And still South Africa come all the possession with them as they try and breach this blue line. Knock on by South Africa, and France, their defence is earning the corn at the moment, and they will get the scrum. Real pressure being put on Francois Kroos it was who's come on, and he's getting the plaudits there, the replacement back rower. So all the ball is with South Africa, but all the hard work is being done by that French defence.
Yeah, there was a little ball out of the back of the hand from Damien D'Alendi, I think it was. 2 South African players down. One of them was Pieter-Steph du Toit. That's a big worry for South Africa because the loose forward, I don't think there's much left in terms of replacements for him.
Well, they'd love to have a 6-2 split on the bench now, but they don't. Tonight it's 5-3, and Pieter-Steph du Toit, he's walking beside the physio.
Oh, that's a head clash.
Well, so now if we were at Ellis Park or Kings Park, you would hear more from the crowd. It's the South African fans who are here are booing, watching that on the big screen, because Damien Penaud, his head hit the head of Pieter-Steph du Toit. No foul play, says Ben O'Keefe.
What?
I'm amazed they're not studying that more closely.
Yeah. 7 green off, HIA's returning, number 8 comes back on.
You have to review that, surely.
I'm amazed that's not being reviewed. We've seen the replay, and again, if there were howls from a home crowd for that might have an influence. Dwayne Vermeulen incidentally was off for an HIA, so he's back on, but as he comes back on, Pieter-Steph du Toit is off
for the reason of
a head-on-head contact. Bobby Skimstats, yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
We're going to restart. Water off.
Into the final quarter here. Pieter-Steph du Toit is off, and he's flapping his arms about down there, and Damien Penaud's feeling his...
The irony is not lost on me that in a French stadium we're not going to see that replay again.
I have to say objectively, having been to Stade de France many times, if there's a decision against France, you don't always see the replays. They are lost on the cutting room floor somewhere. In the mists of time, they disappear. Like old episodes of Blue Peter, never to be seen again. I think we've got them all. Anyway, that's a huge decision, because remember the sin binning for Eben Etzebeth, a head-on-head contact with Uini Atonio and Damien Penaud, and that challenge on Pieter-Steph du Toit, that was head-on-head contact. Pieter-Steph du Toit is off, and South Africa putting the squeeze in the scrum again, but Aldrit picks and goes very, very quickly there, and Dupont moves it now. And after all the pressure from South Africa, no points to show for it, and France chasing down this kick now. It went forward from South Africa, so Penaud has it, gathers it in. Chance for France to really hammer things into South Africa now. Now they have some space, now they can charge up to the 10-metre line. Louis Bielbiere is almost free on the left wing, trying to skip his way infield, but he's brought down. Malherbe was there, and Dupont moves it right for France now to Aldrit. He barges up into the 22. France playing with a pace now, over the top it goes, it's loose. Colby can't quite get on it. Back it goes to Damien Penaud. Penaud now into the open space, is nearly taken down just outside the 22. In comes Dupont again, moves it right over the top, nearly intercepted, but taken in by Fiku. And then Tomás Ramos is there, the fullback, 5 metres from that far side touch. Green told to release, Jesse Creel gets out, Dupont comes in again, and once more France getting on the front foot. 8 phases now for the home side. It slows, a pause, and then Dupont goes in once more. And here come France, and Charles Olival, oh, wonderful tap by Faf de Klerk, brings him down, lost forward, and South Africa will have the scrum just inside their own 22.
Superb play from France. They just can't find the last pass. They've gone over the top a couple of times, but the recovery defence from South Africa, sensational there. A tap tackle as Olivon looked like he was away and had a player outside him. Faf de Klerk, brilliant little tap tackle.
Because when you got
both teams look exhausted at the moment.
I understand what you mean.
I want to play quick ball.
Yeah.
Oh, Vincent Cox coming on.
I understand.
So all the changes on.
Okay, was it this sub been made?
So Peter Steph de Toy reminders. He's off for an HI, isn't he, Peter Steph de Toy? So that's why Vermeulen came back on. So we're trying to keep abreast of all the changes. Significant changes as well. 25-19 France lead here at the Stade de France. But again, one of the talking points, and we've seen one replay of it, you'll not see it again, but that head-on-head contact between Penaud and Peter Steph de Toy. I'm sure if it does not go South Africa's way, Razi Erasmus and company he'll be posting it on social media sometime this evening. So anyway, still all to play for here. 17 minutes remaining. France 25, South Africa 19. A place in the semi-finals against England here next weekend at stake. And South Africa have been getting the upper hand in the scrum. They have the scrum here, but it's right on their own 22. And more cries of Allez les Bleus around the Stade de France. And a rather cool October night. The wind has come down from the north, and it's a very different temperature to that which we've known in this World Cup. It's almost been a summer World Cup, but it's certainly different this evening, but still and dry. And that's why we saw such wonderful rugby in the first half. Ready to scrummage now. Faf de Klerk holds the ball under his right arm and then sets himself to feed. Down it goes. Free kick to South Africa.
There's too much movement. Loose head out. Too much movement before the ball's in.
And that's Reda Wardi, the replacement loose head, who's pinged for that one. Just a free kick. So South Africa take the scrum. Now here, you understand this. They feel they'll get a... They feel they can get a penalty here. They're certainly starting to get the edge in the scrummage.
Yeah, there's outside-in scrummaging there. You can just see the discomfort. I mean, the guys who come on are well known as very, very good technical scrummagers, and you've got to take your hat off to Erasmus and Nienaber, because at this stage of the game, this is when you don't want to give away these penalties.
Well, Pierre Bourgarit is coming on at hooker. Beato Mavaka, what a game he's had as well, going off now and getting the applause of the crowd.
And no surprise, he's going off now. They're getting squeezed again in the scrum, but he combines the skills and the pace and the distance covered of a centre out in the wide open spaces with the full job spec of a front row forward. So he's done amazingly well to get as deep into this game as he has.
Vincent Koch, who's on now for South Africa in the front, has got one leg, his left leg, hugely strapped. It's more strapping than skin on that left leg, but he again, a man who spent a good few seasons at Saracens, is a fearsome scrummager up against Reda Wardi. And Faf de Klerk, South Africa going for the penalty here, going for the scrummage again, but France get the push on. Advantage though to South Africa. France going in at an angle, so they do have that penalty. Faf de Klerk just scoops it through his legs. So free attack here for South Africa, and nearly finding a gap through the middle. Oh, they do find a gap through the middle. Taken on now by Andre Pollard, and then it goes to ground, and then kicked, and then the chase is on. Antoine Dupont, a lonely figure back in the 22, gathers it so well, but then the green jerseys close in on him. France do well to get back there. Penalty to South Africa. 7 metres out from the French try line.
Doesn't release the
holding
ball.
On, not releasing the ball.
Green on his feet, doesn't release the ball.
Did so well initially, Antoine Dupont, but then holding on now. Decision. 15 minutes to go, 6 points behind. It's a gift of 3 points. What do they want to do? This is where you get the white line fever, but do you take the 3 points? Calm heads. Bongi Umbanambi comes up, He's going to take the ball. It's going to be the power of the South Africans charging down on this line. So France all stand on that try line, waiting in the sprinting starting position to leap out here. Bongi Mbonambi, the captain on the pitch now for South Africa, summons in his troops and they gather round him. And the hooker ready to pick and go. Etzebeth on his shoulder. Kwagga Smith is there, but R.G. Snyman picks up and goes and feeds Vermeulen. He's repelled. 4 metres out. Fed on. They come again. Bongi Mbonambi nearly there. Kwagga Smith rolls. Can't get there. 1 metre short. Still with South Africa.
Advantage for offside.
Advantage for offside, says Ben O'Keefe.
New advantage offside.
New advantage to South Africa. France are living on the edge here. Ibn Etzebeth charging on. One-man drive. Scores. Ibn Etzebeth carrying French defenders with him. Gives South Africa hope and might give them the lead here. Right under the post. What a moment. What a try. And France are now going to have to respond. Bobby Skinstad, what an effort by Etzebeth. What an effort by the whole South African side.
Well, I can't say anything. I mean, this has been one of the best rugby games I've ever seen in my entire life. The ebb and flow, the back and forth. Look at this from Etzebeth. He carries half the French pack on his back. Unbelievable. I mean, just amazing strength from the big man.
And quickly, very quickly, it is converted by Andre Pollard. And with that conversion, it's a 1 point game. It's South Africa in front. Suddenly, France, having seemed to be in control of the game, they were creeping further clear. Suddenly they are chasing things. The world champions, the defending champions, well, they're that for a reason, and they do not want to give up their title.
I think where that came from, they had a scrum penalty advantage. Faf de Klerk, like an American football centre, snapping the ball past it between his legs as far as I could see, and they ran from their own half, made the break, put France under pressure. That created the score. 13
minutes to go. South Africa lead by a point. And you know, you can't help but cast your mind back to that charge down conversion from Thomas Ramos from Cheslin Colby. It wasn't an easy conversion, but he doesn't miss too many kicks, Thomas Ramos. And now France, can they respond in their World Cup? Mathieu Jalibert sends it high at the restart. Up goes Snyman, can't quite take it. It comes back for France. Opportunity, Dupont, a little shimmy and a shake and loses the ball backwards. And again, South Africa pouring in the tackles, putting on the pressure. Penalty to South Africa right on halfway. And in the ebb and flow of the game, it is all now flowing with the Springboks.
France chancing their arm once too often there. Antoine Dupont swinging the ball around. They've got loose as they feel the game swinging South Africa's way. They lost 25 yards. They ended up back on the halfway line, conceding a penalty.
12 minutes to go. And they're calling a shot at goal from just inside their own half.
We don't have a knock-on. And Tom, we don't have a knock-on.
We're just watching a replay of the penalty. Was it Kwagga Smith getting over there?
It was an amazing steal from Kwagga Smith. He's such a versatile loose forward. Dupont was there, but just not able to take the man away from the ball. The contest on the ground was good, and Smith, fantastic loose forward.
Well, boos again rained down from the crowd on. Now a change being made. Aldrich's going off, and Makalou is coming on to the boos for Andre Pollard. 53 metres out. It's central, but it's inside their own half, and Pollard, he likes it. Oh, and why not? What a kick from Andre Pollard. And suddenly this game has turned around. 4 point lead for South Africa. France 25, South Africa 29, 11 minutes to go. Is there a way back into it for France? It's only a 4 point lead, but you really do feel that South Africa are taking control of things. Makalou fresh on the field, Scraggs his man, great work at the restart, but France haven't quite secured that ball. It's still there for South Africa, deep inside their own 22.
Okay, use it!
And Faf de Klerk goes in to tease that ball back, again told to use it, takes all his time and clears clears well, good distance, doesn't find touch though, finds Thomas Ramos now galloping on the fullback, but again he's brought down sharply around the 10 metre line. In goes Dupont, and then on comes Pierre Bourgarit, the replacement hooker. Is it still there for France? Yes, the ball arrives at the feet of Antoine Dupont, but it's quite slow now for France, and the South African defence able to gather itself, set itself, and then charge forward. Here's Galfiku, tries to bounce off his man in Bongi Mbanambi. France attacking, but between the halfway and the South African 10 metre line, not making too much progress. A pile driver tackle comes in from Oxenche. A little stab over the top, and chasing it down is Jalibert. Oh, he gathers it well. Mathieu Jalibert again. The green jersey's so quick to get back there, but it's there now for France. Redawardi advantage, penalty to France. South Africa offside. Dupont goes in. So here is this free kick. So often the case, it's a stab over the top, and they'll come back for the penalty as the kick goes to the arms of Kurtley Arendse. So 4 points the difference. Penalty pretty much right in front of the post. Decision to be made. We'll come back for that. But full time at the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales against Croatia. Sheridan Robbins.
Wales had to win, and they have won. They've beaten Croatia by 2-1, meaning they sit second in Group D with 2 matches remaining. It was an impressive performance. They had to dig deep. They had to defend, but they've held out. Wales 2, Croatia 1.
Well, again, a great night in Cardiff, and a great night here at the Stade de France, but it'll be greater still for the home nation if they can find something here. They've called a shot to go. What a wonderful bit of skill by Mathieu Jalibert. That's what he can do.
Absolutely, and they do have that little two-way thing. He has it with Dupont, the little flick over the top. That time it was Ramos in at first receiver, just puts the ball into the no man's land. You can't afford to waste a defender to mark it. It has to land within about a square yard to be effective. Brilliant from Jalibert.
So Fabien Galtier again, he's on our monitor and he's barking instructions into his headset behind those familiar black rimmed glasses, and Thomas Ramos steps forward now, and it's just outside the 22. It's Ben O'Keefe, the referee, clears his nose. But apart from that, general hush for Ramos. Just 3 little short steps forward, picking up the tee already. Through it goes. Oh, it's a 1-point game. 8 minutes to go. Oh, what a game. What a quarter-final here at the World Cup. We saw such drama, such quality last night between Ireland and the All Blacks, and here tonight. France 28, South Africa 29, 8 minutes to go. Another change being made for France. Yoram Moefana is coming on. That was the last act for Mathieu Jalibert. So just seeing who they will. Ramos can play fly half. Just wondering they'll rejig their back line. 8 minutes to go. South Africa get us going again, and France from deep gather it in through Ramos, the full back. So first and foremost, they're looking for a clean exit, but the pressure coming on from South Africa here.
Time's good. Use it!
Antoine Dupont told to use it now, and he's looking and scowling towards the South African defenders here. Dupont sends it high again, and down it comes. It's a decent clearing kick, but actually on the angle, he's not made too much ground up that far side. So South African line out just inside the French 10-metre line.
Yeah, a little bit hesitant there, actually. It was a sort of he was going to pass, and then he was going to kick, and then he was going to pass. So we go with an attacking line out.
Well, let's go quickly to Oslo, full-time Norway-Spain. Shojo Shaka.
Get your passports out, because Scotland are going to the European Championship. It's finished in Oslo. Norway 0, Spain 1. Gavi with the only goal of the match. Spain qualify as well, but for Scotland, they've enjoyed a brilliant campaign under Steve Clarke. They are through with 2 matches to spare.
Shojo, thank you very much. The huge driving ball from South Africa. Just a point to the good in this game. 6.5 minutes remaining. Bongi Mbanambi seems to have a hand on it. Faf de Klerk looking for it. South Africa looking to, well, not quite shut down the game yet. It's still to be 1-0. Drop goal attempt. Is it there from Cheslin Colby? No, not quite. There was a hush, a nervous hush. Long look from Ben O'Keefe at that one. Let's see how close this was in the replay. It was rather drunkenly making its way towards the post. It went to the left of the uprights. And so France will have to clear with a 22-metre dropout. France are not where they want to be. They're within striking distance, but there's a man down injured as Dupont tries to come away. And so the clock is stopped. How are you feeling, Bobby Skinstad?
Well, the nerves haven't improved any. What a cracking match, though. I mean, you know, obviously as a South African I want to have a chance to win this match, but my goodness, for a quarter-final, this level of rugby, the quality's just been absolutely amazing.
And you think of all the little moments in there and all the, well, that long-range penalty from Andre Pollard. Again, Ramos having that conversion attempt charged down, but France are within 1 point. So stoppage in play, so the clock is stopped, and the music blares around the Stade de France, and South Africa gather in a green and gold huddle to discuss the final minutes of this match. And again we see Sia Khaleesi came out and he was hurling instructions and encouragement and flapping his arm around, and all he can do as a captain is watch and wish and hope that his side can see this one out.
Time's off, wait.
And all anyone wanted as a neutral was a close match. We suspected it might be, and it certainly has proved to be. Bongi Mbanambe has been replaced. Pieter-Steph du Toit is back on, so that long HIA past that after that head impact with dummy. Oh my word, what a mistake. What a mistake. Out on the full by Thomas Ramos. Back they come. South Africa have the scrum. Just over 5 minutes remaining. It's not quite a game-deciding moment, but it's not far away from it.
Huge error from Ramos with Jalibert going off injured. Just hit it flat, straight out. Gives the box the scrum underneath the post. Bobby, no surprises what's coming.
I think he was trying to find Penno as well, flying up the right-hand touchline, but the Boks have gone for the scrum in the middle of the field on the 22. They have had ascendancy. They'll be really going to get a dominant scrum here and then either hit it up on the right-hand side. They've got expectant Jesse Creel, Billy Leroux in the middle of the field.
Well, the clock ticks to 75 minutes. Scrum to South Africa, right on the 22, right in the middle of the field here. They lead by a point. They'll look for an attack, look for a try, but if they get a penalty to move it beyond a 3-point lead, that would do very nicely for the champions. Faf de Klerk looks a man at ease in his world, just stands there and waits for the scrum to set, then feeds. Dupont watching him all the time. Use it, says the referee, just as South Africa look to be getting a squeeze on. So they attack. South Africa, can they find another try? Damien Derlendi, the huge, powerful centre, makes some good ground up to within 8 metres. In comes Cheslin Colby to play scrum up. Pieter-Steph du Toit back in the field, barges his way up to within 6 metres now. And they come again, South Africa. They come again, wave after wave of forwards doing the damage to the defensive line, but it stands firm just now. Great hit by Bourgarit, the replacement hooker for France. They need the ball. They need to get a turnover here, France. The clock continues to tick here at the Stade de France, and still with South Africa. Oxenchae with a carry. De Klerk comes in, carried on by Dion Fourie. Still with South Africa, set back. In goes the blonde hair of Faf de Klerk. Play on, says the referees. It goes loose, lost forward by South Africa. Scrum to France. Complaints from South Africa, but scrum to France.
Your kicker was here, you threw it straight into him. Play on.
So Ben O'Keefe is saying that Faf de Klerk was looking for that because he was saying he wasn't passing it to his kicker, and he's got a point, Ben O'Keefe, there. He might have been trying to switch the play, Faf de Klerk, but I think he knew what he was doing.
Very much looked like it. Pollard just hanging in the pocket, waiting for the drop goal. French player on his knee, getting out of the way. De Klerk passed the ball down and into him, not up and over.
It's good refereeing from Ben O'Keefe, saying, look, your kicker's over there. And yeah, it was down and into him. You're absolutely right. He wasn't even trying to get over the French player prone on the ground. Look at it, happens a lot. Sia Khaleesi not entirely happy with that decision either on the touchline. Scrum to France, but with 3 minutes remaining, they're only 8 metres from their own line. Is there a way out of this for France? France 28, South Africa 29, the last of the quarterfinals in this Rugby World Cup, here on 5 Live. The tension around the stadium. 70,000 of the crowd must be French supporters. Oh, we're going to scrummage again.
Time off.
A few of the crowd thought that was a penalty to France.
Time's off. Reset.
But we're going to reset.
Stability.
We must have stability, says Ben O'Keefe.
Time will go back on when we're ready.
The clock has stopped. 2.5 minutes remaining.
Stay square, no movement. Blocks, no movement.
Argentina, New Zealand, now England through to the semi-finals. Who will join them? Who will play England here next weekend? French scrum, Dupont. The great man with the ball in his hands. Could he find something? They need some magic, they need some inspiration. So close to their own try line. They need a solid scrum first of all, France. And it's creaking again. Once again they'll do it, time off. Ben O'Keefe stops the clock. It's up to 77-42 now.
Front rows.
So a referee has to show their composure and calmness as well.
Guys,
pressure moments
before
for
the
them.
game, we said we must have stability and good space. Okay, we're at the end of the game now. We must keep that stability. Stability, gardez votre espace. Okay, keep the space.
I mean, I don't think any of that's being heard by the forwards. They have that 1,000-yard stare because they're just preparing themselves for this scrummage here. Biggest scrummage of their lives for France, really, to try and find a way out of this. So we're looking for stability again. We're looking for this scrummage to be completed. And most of the crowd here in the Stade de France are looking for a move from one end of the pitch to the other. 2 minutes 20 remaining here at the Stade de France. France 28, South Africa 29. Faf de Klerk nearly in the pocket of Dupont, both standing on this side of the scrum, but Dupont under that black scrum cap sets himself and feeds, waits to feed. It is solid, there is ball to play with, so Dupont now shifts it right down that blind side. Is there an attack here for France? Oh, here they go, Louis Bielbiaré, Damien Penaud gets it in field, Ficou crashing on deep into the South African half. Here they go, Dupont gives it out. Now can they come? Makalou is there, sets it back. Oh, it's taken by Vincent Koch for South Africa. Kwaka Smith is there, and now South Africa slow and set. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, and now they go into shutting down mode. The forwards will carry, and they'll carry again, and France will challenge. Was that the last chance for France?
Use it!
You feel it might have been. De Klerk just pops it. This is so well practiced by all sides, but South Africa might do it better than any other. De Klerk goes in, and the forwards wait no more than 3-4 metres away. Vermeulen is the screen, up it goes from De Klerk. They could have shut out the game there and carried, but France will have the ball. It's given to Ramos, deep inside their own half. Penaud, they're looking for miracles here, France, into the final minute.
You're off.
Still there for France. That kick from De Klerk, and they have the ball, and they have a chance, and they have the very slightest hope here. Taufifenua tries to set it back just inside the French half. They come again, looking for this attack, looking for this 1 point, looking for something here, France. Makalou right on halfway. A penalty will do it. Still they come. The green shirts fire up. Redawardi is there, standing from the prop. South Africa told to leave it alone. Once again they come, France. Woki, 10 seconds to go, but it's with France. They need a penalty, they need something, they need a miracle again. Penaud up over the 10-metre line, shut down again by South Africa. In goes Dupont. Dupont trying to get away. De Klerk scrags him. Thomas Ramos now still with France. The clock is red.
16.
The last attack, the last hope for France in this World Cup. Ficou, a rather laboured pass to Redawardi, and the prop frees himself. R.G. Snyman gets to him. Any penalty here and they'll have a chance, France. 45 metres out. Too far out for a drop goal. Taufifenua barges on. A little bit closer. They're hoping, praying for a penalty, complaining. The ball's still there for France. Just outside the South African 10-metre line. Oh, the players are at a standstill. Oh, what a drive from France, but lost forward. Lost by France. Kurtley Arendza sends it out. Sends the ball out and sends France out of their World Cup. France have won, South Africa have won by a single point. A single point here. And collective French heads go into hands, and now they sink to their haunches and they stare, hollow stares around. But South Africa's still alive, and South Africa don't care for the sentiment or the now shattered dreams of France, because they are here to defend their title, and they will go on to play England, and they will continue their defence. Oh, what a game, but it's South Africa who go on, and France will go out into the Paris night beaten in their own World Cup, and it's heartbreaking for France, but that is brilliant from the champions, Bobby Skinstad.
It really is. I mean, you've summed it up so beautifully all evening. This is one of the most titanic clashes I've ever seen between two teams, and hats off to every single player on the field. The French were gallant and almost unstoppable, and South Africa just found an inkling of something. Maybe the experience, maybe the time together, maybe a previous World Cup. But I mean, these warriors of men thanking each other for an amazing match, mixing as friends here on the field. It really brings a tear to the eye. Just an extraordinary rugby match.
Two of the great nights at the Stade de France on consecutive nights, two outstanding quarter-finals, and we look at Antoine Dupont now. The scrum cap comes off and he holds his two hands clasped above his head, and again just stares into nothing, stares into disbelief, stares into the semi-final that won't be now for them, and the final that this was, I mean, fate and fairy tales, they're told of by sides that win. It doesn't really exist in sport, and you feel so bad for France, but South Africa are just a winning machine, and they know how to do it, and you have to admire Paul Grayson, what they've done in coming here to this cauldron tonight and keeping their title defence alive.
Without question, they were almost overwhelmed in the first half. Such was the fervour of the French attack, but they had 3 chances, scored 3 tries. Their aerial kicking game and their opportunism kept them in touch. Incredible, really. And then they ran out of steam eventually, the French.
Yeah, it's an incredible game. Steve, that's what I said, could it live up to the last night's quarter-final? It has, and perhaps even a little bit more. Ended in a similar way, that defence from South Africa, when you know you cannot commit a penalty, cannot commit that sin, because then France will send it through the post and they'll go through. Just a great finish to a great game.
Absolutely astonishing. There are French players down there in blue and white with head in hands, unable to believe what has just happened to them, and there were 79,486 inside this stadium, 95% of whom will go home absolutely devastated. We said before the match you won't hear the Bokke, Bokke, Bokke chant from the South African fans. Well, if they had any energy left, you'd probably hear it now. But Bobby Skinstad, you were sitting next to me during that second half, physically shaking. Now, I know you were cold, but your heart was going a mile a minute too.
Well, I've had the warnings off my watch 3 or 4 times that the heart's gone out of the parameters of safety. So, I mean, my goodness, what an amazing rugby match, And I mean, just as much as I'm excited for the South African team, I feel the heartbreak for the French as well. And I know the journey that they're on, and I know what they're going through. And in this environment, you can't ever take any joy out of the demise of another man, because these were warriors here, warriors all.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the head coach, Jacques Nienaber, as well here, Paul Grayson, because goodness me, he made huge decisions before the match. He made huge decisions during the match. He took off Siya Kolisi. It all could have gone wrong. What big, bold calls he made.
Yeah, he went big, and he went early, 45 minutes, just the start of the second half, really. Kolisi comes off, yes, and that's more almost symbolic for us, isn't it? Such as the personality that he brings to their team, but they're changing your halfbacks, bringing those 3 World Cup winners on, de Klerk and Pollard and Leroux. Those 3 changed the game, and it was the disruptor in chief, de Klerk, who got the final steal at the end of the game to rip the ball clear and seal it for South Africa.
Charge down conversion in the first half, anyone? I mean, again, you never know what that might lead to if the scores have been different, but it's these moments, it's the effort given in every aspect of the game.
And I was just thinking now, we spoke about it, we said Kwagga Smith is going to come on for Siya Kolisi. He needs to make an effect. He effected 2 changes, caught Dupont under his own poles for the needed penalty, and these are guys, and Siya Kolisi standing there saying, that's my role. My role was my 57-minute cameo, or my 47-minute cameo, and the people coming on, they do what they need to do for the betterment of the team. I mean, it's just an extraordinary feeling when you see these guys stand up and do this week in and week out.
Well, you say week in and week out. When the two sides met in Marseille, it was 30-26 to France last year. So over the course of two huge tussles, one which is clearly more important than the other, they have been separated by so little over two absolutely physically bruising encounters. How big, Paul, was that physicality from South Africa in the second half? We knew it would come, but sometimes there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, and the scrum was a point of difference for the South Africans today. They got to grips with the French 8. The changes that they made, obviously, they're all powerful scrummages. Bobby touched on it in commentary, said the guys they're bringing on are technically superb. It was a scrum penalty that got them up to the far end when they played away with the advantage. Obviously, it frees you up to get the ball away, but trace a lot of that back to the impact that the scrum had all the way through the game, notwithstanding the fact that Damien Willemse caught a mark in the first half and called for a scrum, having to drag his forwards back 40 yards. They blitzed France off it, so they knew it was going to be a point of difference for them, as it was in the World Cup final 4 years ago against England.
Antoine Dupont, bloodied and bruised, is making his way off the pitch. Fabien Galtier with those big black thick rimmed glasses, shaking his head as he walks away from the pitch now as well. Andrew Cotter, that was one of the great Rugby World Cup matches.
It was, and we've talked so much about the imbalance of the draw, but we have been blessed with, earlier in the tournament, you might think, amazing matches. And again, we listed them beforehand, and we talked about the two quarterfinals this weekend. And yes, they could have been later and probably should have been later in the tournament, but we've had them, we've seen them, and we've been entertained by them. But that was, it was pretty special. You feel, not for the tournament, I mean, again, you just want the best side to win, but I think a lot of neutrals would have liked France to win because they have been such wonderful hosts, but you want the tournament when it's in France for France to be involved, because then the French people get involved. And this is not a golden generation. There's all sorts of talks of golden generations in various sports, but it's a very, very gifted French side, and they perhaps deserved better than a quarter-final. But again, they'll go out with their heads held high, which means nothing to them. It's very strange, isn't it? They're the hosts at the party that other people are enjoying now. But I suppose odds now are probably on it being a South Africa-New Zealand final. Of course, England will have something to say about that, and Argentina, but they're going to have to raise their game, because again, what we've seen from the two quarterfinals on consecutive nights is these four sides are the standard bearers at the moment, and you've got to be able to try and match them. There's nothing between these four sides, and we've seen two quarterfinals to reflect that.
The 2019 Rugby World Cup final will be the 2023 Rugby World Cup semi-final. Bobby Skinstad, you going to be ready for that?
I don't know if I'm going to have a voice left, and the nerves and the... Well, I'll tell you what a privilege to call it with you guys here and to watch a match like this, of this ilk. I was a fan. Literally went back 20 odd years to just being a fan of the game, and watched it last night, and I thought, my goodness, that is the standard. And then I saw what we saw tonight, and I feel that these teams have done exactly the same and brought the same level of intensity and competitive rugby to the fore, and it's just brilliant for people around the world to see this game played so well.
Bobby, Paul, Andrew, thank you all very much indeed. What an incredible night here. It's been an evening all around the continent, actually, for those visceral sounds of sport. Scotland aren't even playing tonight, but you will have heard Flower of Scotland if you've been wandering around the streets of Edinburgh or Glasgow or all up and down in country this evening, because they have qualified for Euro 2024. There was Swing Low Sweet Chariot, almost whispered at the Velodrome for long parts of the match, because you didn't know if England would get over the line. Imar Ohid, I could hear it just absolutely burning out of the Cardiff City Stadium as Wales get a huge victory over Croatia. We were expecting a lot of Allez les Bleus at the Stade de France tonight, but in the end it was Boca, Boca, Boca. France are done, out of their own World Cup. South Africa meet England in the semi-finals here in Paris in 6 days' time. This remarkable Rugby World Cup continues to deliver. That's it from us here inside the Stade de France. Connor Phillips is next on 5 Live after the latest news.
Listen on BBC.